Hi, I'm Jill Chivers from Shop Your Wardrobe.
And I'm Imogen Lamport from Untitled Style. Today we're going to talk about fit. Now we've talked before about how clothes fit, as in, you can put a couple of fingers in your waistband and that you don't want to have pulls in your clothing.
Right.
And we'll link to this in the blog post. But we're going to actually talk about fit in some other ways that you might not have thought about fit.
Yeah.
So one of the really important elements of fit is, do your clothes fit your lifestyle? So for example, are you a mother and of small children and you have to get up and down off the floor a lot? Or do you work with children with special needs? Or are you a primary school teacher where you do still get up and down the floor? So there's a practical nature. Do you catch public transport? Have to walk long distances, need comfortable shoes, need your clothes to really move and not feel constrictive?
Yeah.
There's those sorts of element of fit.
Yeah.
And then there's kind of some psychological and personality elements as well.
Yeah. I remember when I was leaving big corporate where I'd worked full time, and I was I was finishing off some study and thinking about starting a business for myself, and the transition was massive, and there was a big psychological shift for me to move out of structured formal clothing. To me, that was what was professional, and this whole idea that I could sort of downshift but still have a style. It really took me a while to grapple with that and come to terms with, well, how do you do it, and will this be okay, and what message am I sending? So some really interesting things there about psychological fit and fit for a new lifestyle, a new work style as well.
And I'll notice people often say this to me where they'll say, I'm not sure what to wear because I've come out of this corporate world, particularly say retirees.
Right.
They've come out of this corporate world and they've got their old, much more structured clothes. They go, I'm not sure what to wear. And they feel like it's either that or really sloppy.
Yeah.
When in
Gym
fact,
clothes or gardening clothes.
Yeah. There's a lot in between.
Heaps.
And it's also that kind of having a psychological comfort in your clothes, I think is very important.
Huge.
And going, okay, well, what makes me comfortable? And then there's the people too who live in an environment where it's a very casual place, and they often say, but their personality may be more, I like to be more structured, I like to be more dressier, and I don't feel like I fit in in the clothes I wear. And so there's all these kind of elements that I think that fit is much broader than just, is my sleeve the correct length?
And then you add personality in, and that's, to me, where it gets super fascinating in terms of how do we like our clothes to fit our bodies? And we've come up with this continuum of, body hugging through to sort of form fitting and loose and oversized, and where you might fit on that continuum in terms of how much shape do you show, and what are you comfortable with in terms of your personality and what you're expressing or what you're concealing.
Yes. And so I think there's a light element where, say if you go, I am someone who has to do practical things that require a lot of movement, then you might want to go a little bit looser fit.
Right.
Not so, form fitted, particularly if you're wearing something that's woven rather than something in a stretched fabric.
Right.
If you are doing, but sometimes something very loose can actually become impractical because it gets caught. It almost like it hinders you.
Gets in the way.
It gets in the way.
Yeah.
So there's that kind of element in those lifestyle elements, and then there's that psychological. Do I want to be ultra sexy in the really body hugging way? Do I want to be a little, you can think about it. It goes all the way up to oversized.
Yeah.
And how much will I, where do I sit on that?
Yeah. And we've been. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. And what we were saying, too, is that say. There's the form fitting, which is very overtly sexual often, to the very oversized, which can be seen as I am hiding inside this piece of clothing. Yeah. So, and other people can look at you and think, why are you hiding? Because, what have you got to hide, and what's wrong with you? Or, so there's all those kind of elements, that there is that psychological element to think, well, where am I on that continuum?
Yeah. Excuse me, we were looking at some photos today, and one of the photo arrays we were looking at, a person who's wearing a lot of things that have really wide legs, or there's something in it that is always oversized. If not two pieces, the top and the bottom might be oversized. And there's a personality statement that's being made there. There's a bold or dramatic or creative, artistic expression that's at play there as well. And that's obviously important to the people who are dressing in that way. So the practical considerations may be so much, subordinated under those kinds of circumstances. Or they're wearing shoes that have got really big, thick soles. They're platformy kinds of things, which must, on some level, impede movement to some degree. But they're also a part of fit and how your fit is you're using fit to express something in what you're wearing.
Yeah, and so different personality dressing styles have different kind of typical fits. So the classic style, when we think about classic dressing, it comes from men's suiting. Yeah. It's basically a suit, a collared shirt, it's straight up and down, and it's fitted to the body, but it's not tight. Yes. It's never tight, it's never revealing. Yes. Because it's the armour of the suit. Yeah. And then we have a relaxed fit. So this is always a bit baggier and a bit more relaxed. It's not tight. It's about comfort being the first driver. Right. Yeah. Then we have, say, our dramatic fit. So our dramatic fit is often a bit like the classic, and it's more structured, but it actually may be a little tighter because it's wanting to be a bit more centre of attention. Bolder. A bit more bold. We might have our more creative fit, which couldn't be anything. And this is where, you break all the rules and you'll wear two voluminous garments at the same time, or you'll, put really unusual things together. So fit is something that's less kind of typical in, I suppose, the creative style. Yeah. We've got our rebellious style, and this is often where we get the real tight form fitting. This is where we get the really sexy, the alluring, the skin tight jeans and the,
Or wanting to show more skin because there might be tattoos on display, which have been put there so they can be seen.
And then we've got our feminine fit, which is body shaped, but not tight in the way that our sexy, alluring rebel might, fit their clothes. And then we've got our elegant chic, which again gets back to a slightly looser, but always very tailored, and it fits you perfectly. Like every hem is exact, in the right spot. Everything is tailored to fit your body, your unique body. Yeah. So there are those personality dressing styles and fit. And then there's the, how do I feel? And am I wanting to hide in my clothes, or am I wanting to be seen? Yeah. And is it practical? And how do I want to actually move about my life? And it was funny that Jill and I were talking, and I said, that you have a comfort thing. And she's saying, no, I don't. I said, but you do. I said, you wear a lot of knits and a lot of, things made of move. And she said, actually, when I'm in the car, suddenly it's like, oh yes, can I be like this in the car? Suddenly, actually, maybe I do care about the comfort.
I never argue with Imogen. That's kind of how it went, but I wasn't quite so argumentative as she's making it seem.
But it wasn't an argument, Jill.
Oh, okay. See, learning all the time.
But it's that sort of thing where you go, oh, okay, because I'll have clients who want everything to be very practical fit, where they want to be able to move in everything, and that's really important. Yeah. And other people go, I don't mind that this is a little bit structured, because I like that it has a bit more of a hard edge and it makes me feel a bit more powerful. Yeah. So it is all those sorts of things that you can take into account when you are thinking about fit, beyond just, can I put two fingers down the waistband of my pants?
And where should my hems finish? And they're all important things, and as we said, we'll link to those because they are a part of the story. But fit is a much more interesting story than just those practical sort of centimetres and inches kinds of things.
Yeah, it's thinking about that fit in a broad term. And so do your clothes fit? Yeah. All those elements for you. Yeah. Because sometimes maybe that's where, if you don't really wear something, it could be, but maybe it doesn't fit your lifestyle, it doesn't fit your practical nature, it doesn't fit in a way that communicates in the way that you like.
Yeah.